for it to say. It tells me, though it doesn't show me yet on Facebook. Let's see. And we'll get going after these brave prayers to the spiritual master. And I think
it's not showing yet.
Yeah, it is showing on my screen, so we are good there.
Okay.
So let's get started after these brief prayers to the spiritual master. Om Jnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining us here today on the reading of Bhagavad-gita. So which verse are we doing today?
4.18.
4.18, precisely for 500 points. That was quick and fast. Okay, so let's see if I have 4.18 open, and before I open that, let me close all these hundreds of things that I have got open otherwise on my screen here. So I think I can keep that one, and I can close this here. I don't need it. So we will have a look at a couple of verses, prior to that, so that we can get our connectivity going. Okay. So as far as the verses go, I'll start with 4.16, although today's verse is 18. Kim karma kim akarmiti kavayopya atra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami yajkyatva mokshyase shubhat. So Krishna is telling this to Arjuna, that even the intelligent, which is the kavi, are bewildered, mohitaha, but in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Okay, and I see Meera Mataji raising her hand here. Meera Mataji, go ahead.
My friend says she cannot get in, and I gave her the ID.
You need to give her. Okay, I will text it here on Zoom, and you can copy paste from there.
Okay.
Okay. So she needs the meeting ID, right? She can't join on that link.
Yeah, I did tell her, but I don't know if you send a link, she will click directly on the link.
All right. I have sent you the link also. You'll have to type it out on your own. I don't think you can copy things from my chat window.
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah, I can also. Yeah, let's better do that. I don't want to share my WhatsApp book. Are you able to? It's simple. There, it's also on my posting, on the WhatsApp group from today morning.
Oh, okay.
Those are all pictures. Right? Those are all pictures. Yeah. Okay. So, talking about karma and akarma, so Krishna is telling him that I should tell you what the difference is. And because he's saying that if you know the difference, then you'll be liberated from all misfortune. So how important this is, how do you like the word misfortune?
Yes, to get rid of misfortune is a total liberation, Mataji.
Yeah, but what about misfortune?
What is the question, Mataji?
What do you think about misfortune?
Oh, okay.
I remember a long time ago reading that it was a saying that misfortune comes on a horseback, like very fast, you never know, and departs on foot.
Oh God.
Right? Comes on a horseback and departs on foot. And which is so true if you look at it. I mean, he had just put it very poetically like that. But I remember a few years ago, I think it's almost 10 now, that there was a tsunami in close to Was it Singapore or where was it? One of the places there in that Indian Ocean. And people, Thailand, I think close to Thailand, was it? Yeah, anyway, there were tourists who had gone there, and they were, close to the sea, gone there to enjoy sea, and newly married. They are one second they are walking hand in hand by the sea, and another split second, the huge wave comes, and the wife survived, and the wife was narrating that how she saw with her own eyes the husband being washed away. So misfortune comes on a horseback, right? But then, of course, whatever she would have suffered from the loss of her husband, right? That takes years and years and years to go away, and for you to settle down properly into that. So misfortunes do come in, and so Krishna is telling him that misfortunes come on horseback and they depart on foot. So
Very nice saying.
So you have to be careful about what is karma and what is akarma and what is vikarma, because then only will you be safe. Will you be safe in whatever you're doing? Because sometimes it also happens, like, we also think, should I do it? Should I not do it? Sometimes in our relationships, we think like, should I say this to him or to her or not, like that, right? So, so he's saying that even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, so that knowing which you shall be liberated from all the misfortunes, right? Then yesterday's we had that beautiful chiasmus of a verse there. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. And what this means is the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what is action, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So he's saying there clearly that it's a difficult thing to understand. Gahana karmano gati. Gahana, right? So he says that very difficult. Gahana. Right? So gahana karmano gati. So one should know properly what is action, what is inaction. So know that. And then it brings us to the verse from today, which is verse number 18.
Devi, I had really liked last time when you told that the wall is eating, means your own appointed people. Well, that was wonderful, Mataji.
It
Appointed
is, yeah.
people really.
Right.
And the cow is licking the calf and the
Yep.
blood is coming out.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was nice.
Yeah.
Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. So in today's verse, Krishna is saying, Karmanya akarma yah paschet, akarmani cha karma yaha, sabuddhiman manisheshu, sayuktaha kritsna karma krit. Karmanya karma yah paschet, akarmani cha karma yaha, sabuddhiman manusheshu, sayuktaha kritsna karma krit. Karmanya akarma yah paschet, akarmani cha karma yaha, sabuddhiman manusheshu sayuktaha kritsna karma krit. So I just want you to understand that this word is not Krishna. A lot of us pronounce it as Krishna when we are reciting this word. It is not Krishna, it is Kritsna. Right? Kritsna. Kritsna means completely. Okay, so let's see. Meera Mataji.
Yes.
Were you able to?
I was able to send it to her.
Send it? Okay.
Trying to get in hopefully soon.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So one who sees, all right. So what does it mean here? And it is saying, this verse is saying that one who sees inaction in action. So what does that mean? Karmanya akarma yah paschet. So in karmanya, when there is action happening, he sees a karma. Yah paschet, the one who sees that. Karmanya in action, akarma in action. Right? One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. And action in inaction. Right? Akarmani cha karma yah. In inaction, he sees action. He is intelligent among men. Sabuddhiman manusheshu. Sabuddhiman manusheshu. Yeah. And he is in the transcendental position. although engaged in all sorts of activities. Although engaged, right? Although he is engaged in what? All. Kritsna, I said complete, everything, right? Means Kritsna. Karma krit, all kinds of, activities he's engaged. Sayukta Krishna karma krit, right? So, but he is transcendently positioned, although he might be completely engaged in karma krit, like that, right? So Prabhupada translates these into karmani, inaction, akarma, in action, yaha, one who, paschet, observes or sees, akarmani, in inaction, cha, also, karma, fruitive action, yaha, one who, saha, he, buddhiman, is intelligent, manushyeshu, in human society, saha, he, yuktaha, is in the transcendental position, kritsna karma krit, although engaged in all activities, right? All is kritsna. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but we do have it there, right? And so let's see. Let's look at the purport over here now. And we're having a little bit of a noise in the background. And I do see, Meera, your friend Bianca has joined us here. Bianca, very happy to see you join the call. And hope you enjoy. We are reading from the Bhagavad-gita today, verse number 18 from the 4th chapter. Okay, and I think because, yeah, that's good. Bianca, good to see you. So we have got different devotees from all over the world, I would say, coming from east to west. We have Varsha Malik, or Varshana as we call her. She is from India. Pune Sutapa is from New Jersey. So is Sumi. Vindhyavali is from the far east coast, Philadelphia. That's where you are these days, Vindhyavali?
I just returned from India yesterday.
Ah, you were in India, yes. And now you're in San Francisco, or
I'm
you
in
are?
San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay, she's in San Francisco. Of course, we have Meera Mataji, your friend from Merced. And then we have Namazya from down south. You're close to Los Angeles. Which is the precise city, Namazya? I forget that. And if you're speaking, you're on mute. And while Namazya comes back, Bianca, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am from Merced, California.
Oh, very good. Same place as me.
And I am listening today, if you don't mind. I'm new, so I'm listening.
Absolutely.
I'm in a
That's what
public
we
place.
Okay.
I'm in a public place.
Good. That's a good use. Yeah, just you can put yourself on mute, and if you want to go off the camera, that's fine as well. And yeah. All right. But thank you so much for joining us here. Okay, Meera, Bianca is in good hands. I don't have to worry about that. You will take care of her if she has any questions, etc. You could be her first line of defense, right? And of course, if you need further assistance, I'll be happy to help her. Okay, so let's see what Prabhupada says here in the purport for this. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization, but the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of this service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. Isn't this an amazing thing to think about over here, right? So let's take a pause over here and just do a quick recap from what has happened. We have come to the 4th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, right? And in the 1st chapter, we saw that there was a beginning of the transcendental. There was a beginning of a fratricidal war between Kauravas, right, who are on the evil side, and then the Pandavas, who are on the good side. So it's a fight between good and the evil, which happens all the time. right? This one happened about 5,000 years in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a place called Kurukshetra in India, right? And because it's a fratricidal war, which means that families are fighting amongst each other, and which is the characteristic of this millennium, by the way. And so Arjuna, who is a famous warrior and the leader on side of the Pandava side of the war, which is the army, which is the good side, he looks at his relatives on the other side and he is worried that, how can I kill them? So his job, he's a warrior, it is his job to fight the battle, but he's not ready to fight it. And he's on a chariot, and it's 5,000 years ago, there were no aeroplanes and no submarines and things like that, but there were different kinds of weapons which were actually more sophisticated than the weapons that we have now. And so anyway, so he's sitting on a chariot, but he has got nice celestial weapons with him. One of them is Gandiva, his bow. And so he tries to reason and give lots of reasons as to why he should not fight the war, because it involves his family and killing his family, although his family was on the wrong side. But because of that blood relationship that he has, he refuses to take the right action and do his duty. So then his chariot is being driven by none other than the personality of Godhead, Krishna, who keeps on coming every now and then to this planet Earth to revive the sense of spiritualism, which kind of, it is waxing and waning, it keeps on happening like that. And so then Krishna starts to give him a very important piece of information, and which is that you are not the body, you are actually the soul, and everybody's a soul. And well, that's not just the best part of it. The best part is that he says that the soul does not die. So which is such a relief for all of us, because we are all scared of death, at least I am. And more than our own death, which of course we sometimes do worry about, we are more than that, we are worried about the death of our near and dear ones. Okay. And when we are worried about the death of our near and dear ones, that when we worry about our near and dear ones, when they die, right? When they die, when a near and dear one dies, who are we worried about? Who are we lamenting for?
The body, Mataji.
Their body.
And what is the lamentation for the body?
Because they were friends and family and we were attached. So when they are gone, so nobody is there. Means maybe it's parents or friends, so they are gone. So the pain of they are not there. So the pain.
They are not there for whom?
For us, we are also considering ourselves for the body.
Right. Meera, were you going to say something?
Yeah, we are attached to them and they are not there for us. We are actually worried about how sad we feel. And we cry
Yes.
for us, actually.
Yes, very
Yeah,
true.
hurting, yeah.
Very true. Very true. That
Actually,
isn't
we are
it sad?
selfish.
Isn't it sad? Everything we do for ourselves. Yeah, because we are so selfish, as
We are
Prashana Mati is
selfish.
pointing out. So we do, yeah. So that is what it is, right? So even in the death of somebody, we are actually lamenting, and you have seen wives, they cry. What is going to happen to me? My husband is gone. What will I do now? Right? So we are still lamenting. Even the death of others, we lament for ourselves. And so anyway, so that was a war, and Arjuna was lamenting. He lamented and he said, if all my relatives are gone, even if I win this war, then I'm going to get the sovereignty of this whole planet, right? I will get to rule the whole planet, but who will we enjoy all these with when our cousins are gone, who are on the other side in the war, right? So he was thinking about himself, right? And then all the examples that he gave was again about, we will get sinful reactions to the fact that we're going to kill our teachers who are on the other side, our relatives who are on the other side, our grandfathers who are on the other side, and things like that, right? So Tapa?
Yes, Mataji. So if we do any sinful activities, so who is doing then the activities, and who will be getting that karmic reaction, the body or the soul?
Very good question. Varshana
Because-
Mataji, you want to say something?
No, Mataji, I was just thinking of the answer in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, so who gets the karmic reaction? When Bhagavad-gita says that you are not the body, you are the soul. This means I can do anything from the
So
body
the
that I
soul,
want, right? I can kill everybody
actually,
because the soul never dies, right?
but
But
soul
that is not
can,
the
that
that's not the thing,
uh,
right? That is not. So what is death then? Tell me, what is death?
actually, Mataji, if you really ask, there is no death. You are, I mean, going from one body to another. The soul is always there. So there is no death actually. But we consider the body as the, you see,
Our
everything.
identity.
And that is why we feel very sorry for it.
Exactly. And then 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam vagunanvita vimudhananu pasyanti jnana chakshushaha. Right? So it says that as a soul just steps outside of the body, which is known as death, or it steps into the body, which is known as birth. So whatever material that your body is made up of, right? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, magnesium, sodium, potassium, whatever you say, they're all dull and inert. Matter is inert. So there's one thing which is matter, another thing which is the soul, spirit, matter and spirit. It's a spirit which is animated. And if you put spirit into the matter, then it gets animated in as much as an electrical toy. The electrical toy will sit there and not do anything till you press the switch. And then, the doll will start dancing or the dog will start barking or whatever, the toy can do. So similarly, the body is like that. So death means just, you leave that and you get out of the body. So then the question is that, if there is no killing, the body was dead in the first place. It was just that the soul was inside it and then the soul left. Well, then murder or killing somebody is actually forcefully ejecting somebody who was living in a house. The soul is living in this house, which is this body. And by killing somebody, you are forcefully making the soul to get out of that body, right? And so that is wrong. Now, who does it? Well, who does the actions? So we have read Sutapa Mataji about Jnanendriya and Karmendriya, right? You have got senses, working senses, and knowledge acquiring senses. So the knowledge acquiring senses will acquire the knowledge. The eyes will go and find out that, okay, here there's a nice burrito selling in the shopping place where I'm sitting. So let me order it, right? So the eyes have seen this. The eyes gather that information. The nose might have smelled the good smell or whatever, right? Or the nice color of an ice cream. And then, you can read the price of that item, let's say mango ice cream. And then you walk to the counter. So that means now your working senses are coming into picture. Your legs are walking. So you're saying who does the action? So you see, Sutapa, how action is happening. So the legs are just walking, and then you open the mouth and your tongue starts to vibrate, and the tongue will ask that person like, hey, do you have mango ice cream? And the person says yes. Then, how much is it? And then you take credit card and you complete that transaction, and he hands over the ice cream to you, and you stretch your hand and you take the ice cream, right? So your another working sense is coming into picture, which is your hand. And then you put it into your mouth, your now tongue starts to taste it. So tongue is dual, right? It gathers knowledge and it also acts. So in the first place, it was acting when you were asking that question, that how much is it? And now it is tasting the ice cream. So there is gathering information about the ice cream, that it is cold, it is sweet, and like that, right? And it's a mango ice cream, so your nose can also smell the mango flavor inside it. So all the activities are done by the gross body or the subtle body, which is your mind intelligence, right? And the soul has nothing to do with this at all. And that is why even if, one body kills another body, what the judges can do or what the powers and the authority can do is to kill that other body, right? And you can only kill the murderer. You can't kill the murderer's soul. The soul will still live on, right? And so this concept of birth and death comes because of the false ego, because we think that we are the body. So that's why when I'm dying, I might think I'm dying. I'm not dying. I'm a soul. I'm already alive and always going to be alive. That's what in second chapter, Krishna told, that never was a time when these kings does not exist, and never will be a time when they will cease to exist. So that's such a relief to know that you are a soul and you will never die. So that takes care of, one of the big fears that people have in this world. What's going to happen when I die? like that, right? So Sutapa, does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. So in this war, Arjuna didn't want to fight. And so he's thinking that, fighting is a bad thing, vikarma. So we read about vikarma earlier, right? So fighting is a bad thing. It is vikarma. Vi means bad. Karma means to work. And he's thinking that, better not to do anything, akarma, right? So the word akarma has got two meanings, and we'll talk about that. One meaning we talked about earlier in our previous weeks of lecture, where we said that Krishna said, karmaneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Right? He says that you have a right to perform your duty, but you don't have a right to think at the results of your actions. You do your duty, whatever duty you have to do, the results will come accordingly to whatever is there in your fate, in your destiny, like that, right? Karmani. And then he says that do not be attached to not doing your duty. It's very, very nice, right? Very, very important to know that. Do not get attached to the fact that I don't have to do, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in this in today's verse there, right? So having gone through that, having gone through work, then Arjuna gets confused. He says that, so I don't know what am I supposed to do. When you are saying, because in second chapter, he also talks about devotional service, how you should be good and how you should connect with the divinity after talking all that. So Arjuna is confused in third chapter. He says, I don't know. You are saying that, it is better to be good. It's better to be connected with God. So let me go there, leave everything, renounce everything. Let me go and sit and then go into a meditation and not do anything, not fight this war. I won't be killing anybody. You told me be a God's man. I'm being a godly man, right? I'm just going to do that. So on one end, you're telling me that, no, you should get up and you should fight this war. Other end, you're saying it is good to be a godly person. I'm completely confused. What do I do, right? And then Krishna starts explaining that to him in third chapter. And now we are coming to the fourth chapter, where he's talking about action in action, right? What is action and what is inaction? And he has said that. And we took the last two verses, 16 and 17, just to explain and emphasize the fact that it is difficult to understand. And I gave that example last time, right? That I had, when we were teenagers, like 12, 13, like that, I had a classmate who had a sister 2 years old, which meant that she was also a teenager. So once this older sister, she went into the living room where all her parents, brother, this sister, they were all sitting there. And then she said, 15-year-old, and this I'm telling you about 50 years ago. This is a story from 50 years ago. So you can imagine the standards, and I was in India at that time. So standards of India at that time. And so so she sits there and she brings a cigar and she starts to smoke the cigar in the living room in front of everybody. And the parents did not say anything, did not scold her, did not tell her, you're doing a good job, you're looking very smart with a cigar, looking very cool, did not say anything like that. No action at all on their parts, right? And then from the next day onwards, she never brought a cigar to the living room. So if you look back at the instant of that day, the parents, did not say anything. But in not saying anything, they did a fantastic action. And if you go deeper into it, you will understand that this girl is a teenager. And teenagers, they look for attention. And this was just her way of catching attention and, doing something which is the extreme. And then the parents will scold, and then she will have a nice fight. And in all that fight, the attention is completely on her. And then she's satisfied. But that did not happen. So the teenager got bored. And next day onwards, she did not bring the cigar. If the parents had had a fight with her on that day, the next day she should have brought the cigar again and again and again and again, right? So by inaction, by not doing something, also sometimes you are doing an action. Okay, this is one example of not doing anything. Second is that, sometimes you kill people by your silence, right? Sometimes there are people who like to pick up a fight with you, and they will say provocative statements to you, and then you just don't say anything. You just keep quiet, and your silence baffles them. It makes them even more angry, right? And then, but then they get desperate, frustrated, whatever, and then they leave, right? So not doing anything. But not doing anything, you have done such a big thing that you have pushed them away from your life, right? So akarma, these are all examples of not doing things. And we'll talk about akarma at another plane, at another realm of akarma also. But just on the face value of it, akarma is this, that, you don't do anything at all. Like that, right? So karma, akarma. So Krishna is saying that this is difficult to understand, right? So sometimes, if you don't do anything, like Sutapa asked such a brilliant question today, which is very much relevant to what we are talking. She asked that, so who does this activity and who's to be punished, and why does the soul get the punishment? Who is punished actually, right? The soul is punished, but it was the soul in the first place who desired something, right? And used the body as an instrument to do gross, and the subtle body to do something, to enjoy something. And then because of that, when the punishment is meted out to the body, and the soul thinks that I am the body, so the soul also suffers. So the only thing that has got feelings in this entire structure in front of you is the soul. The body doesn't have any feeling, because you can go and pinch a dead man. He's not going to howl. He's not going to flinch. He's not going to move at all. There's no feeling in the matter. The feeling all comes from the soul. So if you do an action, then Newton's law, for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. That's the law of karma also. The law of karma says what goes around comes around, right? There are other variations of the law of karma. One good deed deserves another, right? So like that. So have you heard about doctors being punished for negligence of duty? Have you come across this situation? For neglecting the duties ever? Never, ever? Do you ever read the newspapers? Everybody on mute?
Many times.
Many times. There you go. Right? So negligence of duty, where is the action? There was no action there. He was neglecting his duty. He was not doing his duty. Still he got punished. So you see, the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. And Krishna is going to slowly tell you, right, how to do that. And that is the reason that we all need, no matter how intelligent we are, we could be PhDs from Stanford University, right, Harvard, Oxford, anything like that, right? But these universities are only teaching you the material science, right? They are not teaching you the spiritual science. And to understand the spiritual science is very difficult. Krishna is telling you, Gahana karmano gatihi. It's very difficult to understand karma. And so in order to understand that, you have to go to somebody who has understood it, right? That's why you go to college to read physics and chemistry and economics and biology and zoology, because there are professors who understand it. And you go there to understand from them. Similarly, if you want to understand all these spiritual activities, where will you go? That's a question.
We'll go to our guru to understand and
we'll go to our guru to understand the scriptures, right? Tadvidi pradipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshiyanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. It says that you will go to and ask the question humbly, right? You'll first serve your spiritual master. You will ask the question humbly. To those, what sort of a spiritual master? One who has seen the truth. One who really knows what is karma and akarma. You'll go ask that question to that person, right? And sometimes people don't like the concept of guru, maybe because they see guru as a person who is just like us, right? He has 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, teeth, eyes. He sleeps, he falls sick. He can get COVID. You can also get COVID. So what's the difference between me and my guru, right? People might just think that, no, I just have a relationship with God. And in Sanskrit, God is called Krishna. That's the Sanskrit for God. So it's my relationship. Hey, buddy, it's me and Krishna. There's something going on here, right? Why are you bringing the guru between me and Krishna? Okay, so make that picture in your mind, that there is Krishna on one side, there are you on the other side, and the guru is coming in between, right? This is what people think that a guru does. And I don't need a guru because he just comes between Krishna and me, right? But our teachers tell us that no, a guru does not come between Krishna and you. A guru actually removes everything that comes between Krishna and you. Now picturize that. What do you think are the things that come between Krishna and you? What do you think? Why are you not able to see Krishna if he's everywhere?
Greed, anger.
Yep. Lust, anger, greed, pride, arrogance, sense of enjoyment. All these things are the things that come between you and Krishna. And Guru actually helps remove this thing between you and Krishna. Okay, so we have to rely on the scriptures, we have to rely on the gurus to be able to understand the intricacies of karma, right? And whenever you're in doubt, you should always go and ask. You should always go and ask, verify, is this the right action? Is the right thing? Is it the right way? My thinking is this, my mind is telling me this, always, triangulate between Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Check it out. All three should be in sync before you go and do anything like that, right? So, so I was just talking about that, sometimes not doing anything, right? Not doing anything also can lead to you getting punished for not doing your activities. So sometimes people might just say that, yeah, I'm a good human being, right? I work, I have a family, I'm a nice father, I'm a nice husband, or I'm a nice wife or a nice mother. I take care of my kids, I make an honest living. And so everything is good. Everything is not good still. Why? Because there are 8,400,000 species into which a soul can migrate. A soul can get into a dog's body, a cat's body, a cow's body, a camel's body, a dog's body, an amoeba, a germ, a whale, a tree, right? A mountain, river, like that. It can get into any of these species. And it is only when the soul enters this human species, this human body, that you have got the chance to do devotional service to the Lord. And that is the sole purpose of the human body, is to utilize the intelligence which is there in the human mind, to do the reasoning. The capability to reason is there only in human beings. The animals work on instinct. They are smart, they do smart things, but that is instinctive to them. They won't do the reasoning. And it's in the human body. The human body is structured in such a way that you are erect, you have got hands which can hold a book, right? And you have a mind that you can still to be able to hold the book. Otherwise, monkeys can also hold a book in their hands, right? But they will tear it to pieces. That's the nature of a monkey. So in the human form of life, it is only the human form of life that your duty and your soul and the prime duty of life is to engage this body, mind, and the soul in Krishna consciousness, in godly activities. All other activities, all other duties come as a secondary activity. Whatever activity you should be doing it for Krishna. You should be doing it for God, like that, right? So one who sees action in action, intelligent among men, and he's in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. So purport here, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma, now here's the new definition of akarma. Akarma means without reaction to work. Okay? But I gave you several examples now of akarma when you were not doing anything, but you were still getting the reaction to the work. Like a doctor neglecting his duty will be culpable, right, for punishment, culpable for punishment. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of this service. I just now realized I'm not sharing the screen with you and nobody complained. I'm almost to the end. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. So I repeated this purport one more time for you because the importance of it, right? How you get immune to whatever can happen to you in this material world. Yeah, right? So a nice purport, goes pretty deep into it. And now let's look at some of the nuances of this particular verse, right? And of the previous verse also, where we were basically talking about karma, akarma, and vikarma, right? So when people, and akarma is a new concept that has been brought over here, right? So karma, we know, when you do something, you are looking at the results, you're focusing on the results. If it is a good karma, if it is according to the scriptures, if you're doing good karma, which is according to the scriptures, will you get a reaction or not? If you're doing good karma.
Good, you get.
Yes, Mataji.
You will get that, right? And what kind of a reaction you get? Good or bad?
Good.
Good reaction, right? So you will get good reaction. So that's why when people say that, I'm a good man, I go to work and I take care of my family, I feed and I'm honest and I'm truthful, all those are good things, right? And because doing all those good things, you're going to get another body after you die, right? And so then the cycle continues of being in this material world, one body after another, one life after another. And in all the lives, there are 4 common things. What are those 4 common things?
Birth, death, old age, and death.
Birth, death, old age, and disease. Exactly right. Okay. So those are the 4 common things that you're going to have in birth after birth after birth. So just being good is not enough.
Can I just add something there? When you said somebody who says they think they're good, they do good, etc. So when they think that, there's an implication that because they think that, they are better than the next person because they're good. So there's always a comparison. I'm good compared to so and so. So when you do that, isn't there already negative karma? That negative because of the negative attitude.
I would have gone to, well, it depends on what's going inside the mind, and only Krishna knows what's going inside the mind. I would have put it as a bad one if he had used the word, I'm better. I'm good.
No, but I mean, they don't have to say I'm better, but when a person just does and is without thinking about whether they're good or not, but they just perform the actions, they just do certain things, but they don't think, oh, I'm so good because I'm doing this, I'm doing puja, I'm doing service, so I'm so good. So the minute they start to think that, there's an implication, there's an inference that there is a comparison. But when they don't think about that, they don't say, oh, I'm so good, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, etc. But they just do it. They just do it.
Yeah, I see your point. Let me put my statement in a different perspective. I'm not going that route, right? What I'm saying here is that when a person, I can say, when a person is thinking, I am doing the right thing, right? I'm doing the right thing. I know I've consulted the scripture. This is the right thing to do. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing my check, right? I'm not even thinking of others at all, right? Whether others are doing it or not doing, I am supposed to do this. It is my duty as a husband to take care of my family. I'm doing this. All is good. That is the message that I'm trying to say, right? Now, if he now starts to think that I'm better than others, then that's a totally different thing, right? And for thinking that, he will, dwindle down and he'll fall down because of that thought. But right now, for the purpose of this explanation, for the purposes of karma, akarma, and sakarma, or good actions, good action is you did something good, you will get a good reaction to that, right? You did something bad, you will get a bad reaction for that. If you did good, you will get good, but you also thought that I'm better than, if I think, oh, well, I'm better than Aruni, you will get a bad for that. So again, we also saw last week that when Indra insulted his spiritual master, and the spiritual matter leaves the assembly and goes away, Indra is very morose, and he apologizes, and in front of everybody he says that, you know, I shouldn't have done that, and I'm this and that. So that feeling of moroseness, or the feeling of guilt, or you know, the regret that he felt, did not cancel out the bad karma that he did. So good karma and bad karma do not cancel each other out, right? So yes, to your point, it is very important to have that thing in your head, that I'm better than others, not to have that thing in your head, and have that thing in your head that not to make comparisons like that, right?
Mataji, I heard, just very recently in India, one lady, she's like my age, she has husband, she just goes to temple every day in the morning, and she prays God, and she just stays few minutes and comes back. The priest said, why don't you wear all your jewelry and come to the temple? Because you're coming and praying goddess and coming to the temple. Just do yourself everything, put on, and nicely come to the temple and pray. So in that case, like a person, actually we all think that she should not have done that. In the early morning, putting on jewelry and going to the temple. But priest said that. But she went there. And then what happened? The priest, with a big stone, he hit on her head. On the spot, she died. She was closing her eyes and praying God. It happened. She died. And then he tried to cover and everything. Afterwards, they caught him and everything was okay. But according to me, what I thought was, she's a very blessed person. She has husband, everybody there, but she thought that priest is telling that, and every day she see the priest. Every day he does the chanting mantras and everything in the temple, and do the archana, prayers, everything. So she believed that. One way her belief is right. One way we all think, no, why should she go to the temple in the morning when priest asked to put on jewelry? We always think that right away, But whether she did, she had, as long as far as myself, I feel that she's very much blessed, and she closed her eyes in front of God, and she lost her life. And that priest did that, and then the priest knows all the uh, uh, spiritual knowledge he has. He was doing mantras and everything. Every day she knows. So as far as I'm concerned, I say that lady had very good karma, and she left. She left the body.
Yeah,
but the priest must have got bad karma.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that point, because we are talking about these, and this would be a very good example to explain some of the concepts, right? So in the previous verse, Krishna said that it's gehana karmana gati. It's very difficult to understand, right? So we can look at it with our imperfect senses, and we can look at that lady sitting there, right? Couple of things that, I mean, for us, the question would be that after hearing this horrible story, right, what is the lesson for us to learn from here? Right? So always triangulate, right? When somebody asks you to do, we are living in Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Right? We're living in Kali Yuga, so you have to be aware. And that's what Krishna was also telling Arjuna, that be aware of what's going on around you. You are a king. It is your duty to protect. Don't say that I'm going to go sit up in the Himalayas and I'm going to renounce everything. Krishna told him not to do that and to do your duty, be aware. So to that extent, it's imperative that we be aware of our surroundings, be aware of the fact that in this millennium, it's a millennium of the thieves and the rogues. I mean, even those who rule us are thieves and rogues, right? And so she shouldn't have just done it like that. I mean, she's blessed to have a husband. She could have consulted him also for this unusual request, right? Having said that, people do go on Mangal Aarti, women come.
Mangal Aarti, that's why she went.
Which is 4 o'clock in the morning, right? They go dressed, and the idea is to please Krishna. So if that is entirely what was in her head, and at the time when she was closing, and if she was thinking about Krishna, then we don't care the way she left the body, because we just saw that, nothing happens to the body, right? Nothing happens to the soul, it's just the body that left. And from that instant, there is so much messages that are being sent for those who have been left behind over here, right? And then it also tells us about the priests,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So, yeah, so about the good, yeah, so we were talking about doing the good actions, you're going to get equal good reaction to that. Doing something bad, you're going to get a bad reaction to that, right? I mean, of course, what this lady was doing was beyond, because she was praying to Krishna. That's at a higher level than just pure karma and vikarma. I'm just talking about that, you know, if you give $1 in a charity, you know, then it is guaranteed that you will get it back, either in this life or in another life. It is guaranteed. The scriptures say that you will get it back. Depending on who you give it to, there's a multiplicative factor on how much more you're going to get it back, like that. So that is karma, right? Now, akarma. Akarma is that, you know, when you stop doing some activity, right? And it's more like, you know, you renounce things that, like Krishna, that Arjuna, he renounced. He set aside his bow and arrow, his Gandiva, and said, Arjuna, Krishna, I will not fight, right? He set it aside. So there's a renunciation that we have, right? So when we talk about renunciation, there are different types of renunciation, right? I mean, I remember when I was 11 or 12, you know, just entering into teenage, and you know, final exams are there on the head, and then you realize you have spent all your time talking to your girlfriends and class, didn't listen to the lecture properly, you were sharing chits, you know, like that, and reading and giggling, and then the exam has come. And so I had a mom who was in the spiritual, you know, and she used to talk about renunciation. And so those words were familiar to me. Not that I was very active in devotional service, but those were there. And so every time, this happened for a couple of years, before the exams were there, I used to say that, you know, I'm going to renounce everything. This is nothing. This world is horrible. It's full of examinations, right? And I'm going to renounce. So, you know, renunciation can come to you in different flavors and in different types, right? So one type of renunciation that comes is known as smashan vairagya. Smashan is the cremation ground. Cremation ground means somebody died, right? So somebody very, very rich. For example, this rich lady who put on all her jewelry and went to the temple. Or, you know, some very famous personality, very rich, prime minister, president, king, right? Anyone like that, he dies, and you look at their body, dead bodies lying there, and you were related to them, maybe you like them, maybe they were nearer dear ones, or maybe they were not, they were just, you know, some famous personality, but you look at them and then you are like, I don't know, is this what life is worth? All the efforts that we did, all the hard work that we did, it just gets like that. I mean, they throw you into a pit or burn you, and you become ashes in 2 hours, gone completely, no trace left, right? Or thrown into the sea to be eaten by the animals, sea animals. Is that what life is? I don't think. I don't know. What am I doing? Why am I running after that promotion? Why am I envious of this person? Why am I this? Why am I that? So those questions will come to you. And that keeps you a little, you know, at a higher consciousness, but just for a few days. Just happens for a few days, and then we are back to our grind. You know? Same, you know, the wheels start chugging along. Again, I'm in the back in the rat race. Again, I'm in the rat race. And I heard something about the rat race. Somebody said, one of my godbrothers sent me this nice picture. So it showed, you know, a lot of rats that are running. And in the next picture, they showed that one rat had won. He was ahead of all of them. And in that picture, it said, you know, even if you win a rat race, you are still a rat. It was like amazing eye-opening thing. Even at the end of a rat race, you are still a rat.
One thing, Mataji, that this Smashan Vairag, actually Smashan, what I'm telling, in like in India, I don't know why they do. They just put it away from the town. That burial ground is very far from the city. Like that they put it, and nobody walks there. Nobody goes there. And here I see a lot of places. It's middle of the house, middle of the houses. They have this thing is there, and people go normally. They go for walking in that. So that is that always I think about that. People normally go in. See, all the people I see in the burial ground, they just go for walk, just without nothing happened, and they go for walk. In India, that is not the concept. They put it away from the town. And if something happens, only the person takes the person there and do the burying and everything, and cremation or whatever it is. And people won't go anything until that day. So this is what I think we need to learn, to walk in that, and that is just one day we have to go, and all these people must have gone. Some of them must have gone to nice place in Krishna's feet, and some of them are, but according to their karma, they must have gone. So if we don't feel that, we can walk in that. But still, human beings, we do have some small corner of this thing, little, that feeling is there. Why?
Yeah, it is interesting point that you brought, because recently Hansapriya Mataji's mom passed away, and so I went to attend the funeral, and so they gave me the address, and my husband and I were going there, and we were looking, and so I saw that we were coming close to the address that was given, but I was looking there and I was saying, oh, this looks like a marketplace. So there was the laundromat, and there was the subway and everything, and bang, in the middle of the subway, there was this funeral. And I was like, oh my goodness, how can you have subway, subway sandwich sitting right next to, knowing that few bodies are burning right next to it. So I don't know whether it's a matter of convenience or what, but again, I've attended some burials also, and those burial grounds are pretty far away, and they are designated. It's a huge burial ground. I don't know whether it's a matter of convenience or not, whether it's an ignorance or what. And also whether they are just trying to defy death and just make it something normal so that people don't think about it. So there could be both the reasons for keeping it far away so that people don't think about it, and also keeping in the middle of it so that it becomes a normal routine thing and right, But death is not something that should be considered as a normal routine thing, especially when you are a human being, because it's a waste of life if a life has not been spent in doing service to Krishna like that, right? So Smashan Vairagya, right? That's something that happens to everybody. And Smashan Vairagya just doesn't mean that there's a death and you have gone to the Smashan or the burial or cremation ground. For me, Smashan Vairagya came in the form of annual examination, right? So Smashan Vairagya is coming like that. So that's that type of Vairagya, right? Then sometimes you also hear about the term Markat Vairagya. So Markat in Sanskrit means a monkey. Okay, so a monkey looks like a human being, right? It's the closest to the human beings by way of structure and form, etc. Right? Very much like a human being, eyes and hands and legs, like that. And so if you look at a monkey, the monkey lives in a forest, natural habitat, right? On the trees, right? Eats fruit the whole day long, and then doesn't wear any clothes, right? So sometimes people will take a vairagya or renunciation, and they will say that, I won't wear any clothes. I don't need any clothes. Why? Because I'm not this body. I'm the soul. I don't need any clothes. So they will, Nange Baba hai, or Digambar, Digambar means sky. So I'm a Digambar saint. I roam nude like that. And I only eat fruits. And I will leave my whole family and I'll go to the jungle. Right? But then they are called as Markat Vairagi, or monkey-like sannyasis. And the reason for giving up that and not doing any action, right? So this is in action. No, he's not doing anything. He might think it is a karma. Right? The nice person doesn't even wear clothes. He's so humble. He's desireless. He doesn't want anything, right? But then the Shastras say that you bring a female monkey in front of the monkey, right? And the monkey drops everything, runs after her. So same thing happens when we are in that state of renunciation where we have put on a fake appearance of being a renounced person. But inside of us, there are all kinds of activities still going on. Okay, so I'll take up a story from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Same thing, Prasuti Vairagya also.
Yes.
That's
yes.
also like that.
So this was in the 10th canto. Was it in the 10th canto? Yeah, 9th canto. Okay. And let me go to the verse here. Okay. Okay, let me start sharing my screen here. So Prasuti Vairagya, for those of you who did not understand that, Prasuti is to give a birth. So Prasuti Vairagya is that when a woman is giving birth to a child, there is so much of pain that she says, I'm never going to have another child again. Right? And guess what? Right? Next year, she's back again in the maternity ward. So that's also a Vairagya, short-lived. Right? Okay. So this is the story of Saubhari Rishi. So let's read through this. Saubhari Rishi was engaged in austerity deep in the water of river Jamuna. Right? So giving up everything. He's inside the water. So imagine what kind of a yogi he is. When he saw a pair of fish engaged in sexual affairs. He's just seen them. Thus he perceived the pleasure of sex life, and induced by his desire, he went to the king Mandhata and begged for one of the king's daughters. Now imagine this man is engaged in deep austerity, deep in the water of the river Yamuna, right? So if you sit in the water for like an hour in the swimming pool, what happens to your skin and what the fingers? They all get shriveled, right? Now he's doing this in the waters of the Yamuna for a long time. So you can imagine no haircut, no nail cut, skin is all loose and bad, and it's so many years, so maybe wrinkled also. So now he's going and telling the king that I want one of your daughters as the wife, right? And well, the kings in those days, respected these rishis. But the king is very smart. So in response to this request, the king said, "O Brahmana, any of my daughters may accept any husband according to her personal selection." So he kind of put it on the daughters. He said, okay, if my daughters like you, then that's fine. I'm okay with it. Because he knew the daughters will not select him because he's so old and shriveled. Subhari Muni thought, I am now feeble because of my old age. My hair has become gray, my skin is slack, and my head always trembles. Besides, I am a yogi. Therefore, women do not like me. Since the king has thus rejected me, I shall reform my body in such a way as to be desirable even to celestial women, heavenly women, what to speak of the daughters of worldly kings, right? So because he has been doing all these austerities, he has got some mystic powers by which he can change his body, right? Make it young, look young. Thereafter, when Saubhari Muni became quite a young and beautiful person, the messenger of the palace took him inside the residential quarters of the princesses, which were extremely opulent. All the 50 princesses, so Mandhata had 50 daughters, all 50 princesses then accepted him as their husband, although he was only one man. Thereafter, the princesses, being attracted by Saubhari Muni, gave up their sisterly relationship and quarreled among themselves. Each one of them contended, this man is just suitable for me and not for you. In this way, there ensued a great disagreement. Because Saubhari Muni was expert in chanting mantras perfectly, his severe austerity resulted in an opulent home. So because he's a yogi, he can create things, right? Opulent home with garments, ornaments, properly dressed and decorated maidservants and manservants, and varieties of parks with clear water lakes and gardens. In the gardens, fragrant with variety of flowers, birds chirped and bees hummed, surrounded by professional singers. Saubhari Muni's home was amply provided with valuable beds, seats, ornaments, and arrangements for bathing. There were varieties of sandalwood cream, flower garlands, and palatable dishes. Thus surrounded by opulent paraphernalia, the Muni engaged in family affairs with his numerous wives. So you see, Markat Vairagya, right? You just were doing this thing, but the desires were still inside you. So the moment the right opportunity came, you threw away everything and then came and settled down with 50 thing, right? However, we have to remember that these austerities performed, if they are done for Vishnu or Krishna, they do not go in vain, right? So it stays there. And second chapter of Bhagavad-gita said, right? Neha bhikramo nasosi pratyavayo na vidyate. Right? Even if you do a small amount of austerity, it's not going to go waste. So Mandhata, the king of the entire world, consisting of the 7 islands, was struck with wonder when he saw the household opulence of Saubhari Muni. Thus, he gave up his false prestige in his position as the emperor of the world. So this is the father of the 50 daughters. So that's fine. One good thing came out of that. In this way, Saubhari Muni enjoyed sense gratification in the material world, but he was not at all satisfied. See, 50 princesses and he's still not satisfied. Just as a fire never ceases blazing, very important. A fire never ceases blazing if constantly supplied with drops of fat. How will a fire stop blazing? What do you have to do?
By pouring water.
Pouring water, right, yeah. So similarly, the fire of our material desire will cease if you pour the water of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thereafter, now here it comes. Thereafter, one day while Saubhari Muni, who was expert in chanting mantras, was sitting in a secluded place, he thought to himself about the cause of his fall down, which was simply that he had associated himself with the sexual affairs of a fish. So you see how dangerous this world is. Alas, while practicing austerity, even within the depths of the water, and while observing all the rules and regulations practiced by saintly persons, I lost the results of my long austerity simply by association with the sexual affairs of fish. Everyone should observe this fall down and learn from it. What do you say about Saubhari Muni? Thoughts?
He realized very late, Mataji.
What is very late?
He realized very late.
He realized very late. Yeah. He realized very late. Yeah.
After everything happened, you know, and he's blaming the fish also. It's not that.
Very nice point. He's blaming the fish, right? Where is the blame to lie? Who is to be blamed? Saubhari Muni himself, because he had the desire still there. He had the desire to enjoy. So we might think that we are very advanced, we are doing that. I've left everything, I'm not even eating, I'm sitting under the water, I'm doing austerities, right? But you need to have the strong
willpower.
Strong willpower, and that strong, and how will that come? You know, it comes from the blessings of devotees and from the association of devotees, from the mercy of Krishna. Like that, right? And so he has done his austerities, and with the austerities you get the mystic powers, right? And the mystic powers, he used this mystic powers for his own enjoyment. With his mystic powers, he made himself beautiful. With his mystic powers, he created a palace, he created maid servants, he created garments, ornaments, and things like that. These mystic powers should have been utilized for realizing God further, right? And up high there. So people can do vairagya like that, and you know, think that, oh, everything is fine, but no, it is not fine, right?
Vishwamitra also.
Exactly.
Vishwamitra also with one sense.
So yes, and Vishwamitra's austerities, again, you know, we see the difference between doing things for Krishna and doing things for himself. Vishwamitra was doing those austerities for himself. He wanted to become one of the Saptarishis and the best of all the, right? And so it was for him. Why? Because he wanted to become as good as Vasishtha, who had refused to give him his Kamdhenu cow, right? That's why he was angry. So he was a Kshatriya by nature, Vishwamitra, and Menka comes, right? And that's it. One little sound of the ankle bells is what he heard in his meditation, and out he was with Shakuntala for a long time, indulging in household affairs, right?
But one thing I'm not able to get the names right away. Vyasamaharashi's son, he was born around 16 years or something. He just walked out of the house, and he was running after son, don't go. Then he just went to the forest and he preached, but though ladies were, he was naked and he was walking away, but he didn't bother anything. He didn't bother him anything. He just walked out, and at that age, teenage, and the ladies were taking, they were taking bath, and they were all looking at him. I just don't know that it remember me a little bit.
Yeah, let me elaborate a little bit on that. So this is when Shukdev Goswami, who narrates Bhagavatam, right? Who narrates the Srimad Bhagavatam, he's born. He doesn't want to be entangled, and his father wants to do the purification ceremony. And he runs away from his house, and the father is running after him. So Shukdev Goswami born 16 years because he stayed in the womb for 16 years. He didn't want to come out. And so when he comes out and he starts running, and Vyasdev is running after him, and there in that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, they're actually telling about the difference between Vyasdev and Shukdev Goswami. So and Shukdev Goswami is nude, but he's so pure in his heart, and the vibrations that he's exuding, that these ladies who are in the lake, right, they're taking a bath in the lake, they see some young boy nude going on, they do nothing to cover themselves because of the pureness, of the purity, right? But when they see Vyasdeva is going back, they immediately cover themselves, right? And Prabhupada explains in that purport, he says that, you know, a couple of reasons, because he's a grahastha ashram man, right? So who has tasted what sex is, right? So he could get attracted again to these girls. And the second is that it is also the culture and the custom to, you know, respect somebody who's elderly, older than you. So that's the reason he covered. Varshana, is that a hand still raised or a previous hand?
Yes, Mataji. Just now only I raised it.
Okay.
Mataji, this Mashan Vairagya, that means in this Mashan Vairagya, when we go to the burial ground and see that this is the end of life, and why should I, you see, I mean, what am I doing? So this can help me in going to for self-realization, that I think of Krishna and start meditating on him. Won't it help, Mataji?
Yeah, it will if it is sustained, right? If you sustain it. So what they're saying is that why does a person take Vairagya, right? There are various reasons a person can take Vairagya. One of the reasons is that he gets so full of material life and his enjoyment that he gets sick of it, right? What, these 37 flavors of Baskin Robbins, I've been eating them every day and still I don't get that satisfaction. So you enjoy all that and you are thoroughly done. You're thoroughly done with the material world. Then you are really ready to do, to take a Vairagya like that. As long as there's even a little desire that is remaining. Vishwamitra, you said, right? And Sobari Muni, we read just now. So with the thing with the Smashan Vairagya is that it is short-lived. It's a short-lived, it doesn't happen for a long time, right? Everybody, when there is somebody dies, the priest comes, reads from the Bible, or you know, reads from the Gita, second chapter of Bhagavad-gita. They read, and everybody's sitting there very careful, right? We are good to each other, even to our enemies for the next few days. But after that, we are back to normal.
Mataji, Mahatma Buddha, you see, when his father never allowed him to go out and see any dead body going. So he wanted that my son should not see it, because something was predicted by the at the birth of it, at his birth, it was predicted that if he looks at the body, dead body, and then you see he may take Vairagya. So you see, I was just thinking of Mahatma Buddha, that he was totally renounced, and he actually purified so many.
Right. Gautam Buddha. It's an exception. Yeah, it's an exception to the rule. I'm not talking about Gautam Buddha. I'm talking about the Smashan Vairagya you and I have. Oh, maybe you, but maybe you don't. I have, right? And somebody dies, it's like, you know, what's the purpose of this? Right? And which is short-lived. It is short-lived, right? Yeah. So Smashan Vairagya is that, right? Which you get, right? Markat Vairagya is that, you know, when you're not doing anything, right? Yes, you're stopping from doing your activities, but the desire is still there. So you'll start engaging in it. Once the situation is right, you will start on it once again. Sobari Muni, Vishwamitra. Yeah. These examples are there, right? And sometimes these vairagyas are also known as Falgu vairagyas. Falgu vairagya is when you, Falgu means short-lived. There are two meanings to the word Falgu, right? So Falgu is short-lived. So for example, the Smashan vairagya can also be called as a Falgu vairagya. Falgu means that it is short-lived. After 1 week, it will go away. Or in case of Subari Muni, it was not sustained forever, right? It went away. It was a longer duration. He did austeries for a very long time, but it did go away, right? It was not eternal like that. So Falgu means that, right? Then there's also another, there's another meaning of the word Falgu. And that Falgu means that, you know, it's useless. It doesn't make any sense that whatever you are doing, right? So there's actually a river in Gaya in Bihar, which is known as Falgu Nadi. So that river actually, it's a dry river. It looks like a sand, right? So people might just say that, oh, we call you a river, but what kind of a river are you? It's all sand. Where is the water? It's a useless river, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's not right. Now with this Falgu river, there's a story that goes, you know, Sita cursed the river and whatever, that in this portion of the river, you are going to become, you're going to become dry. So you'll flow before this, you'll flow after it, but here you'll become dry. So the river will go underground. So if you go there and you know, try to walk on that river, Falgu river, in that area, you will sink and you'll go down because there's water underneath it, right? So calling it a river is, you know, it is there, it is not there, it is, you know, but it doesn't make any sense to call it a river because it's all dry sand. People might think like that, right? So that is also Falgu vairagya. That's also one vairagya that is called. And in that, what happens is that a person says that this is Lakshmi. I don't have anything to do with Lakshmi. It's money. It can corrupt your mind. It can take my mind in this direction, that direction. I don't want to do any of that. And so I am renouncing this. And Vaishnavi Babu gives a very nice example. He comes and says that if you go to Bank of America or a Punjab National Bank, any of the banks that you go, and you go inside the bank and you declare very boldly, a bank has got millions of dollars, right? Or thousands of dollars at any given time. So you stand there and you say, I renounce all these thousands of dollars in the bank. And it's a laughing matter. The money didn't even belong to you. What do you mean? I'm renouncing this. It was never yours, right? So similarly, when people say, or when kings say that I am renouncing my kingdom, or a person says I'm renouncing my life and I'm going to the forest, my dear sir, the kingdom didn't belong to you, nor does the forest. So what are you doing? Everything belongs to God. Everything belongs to Krishna. So unnecessarily, the Prabhupada says that, you know, there are yogis who say that I have not touched Lakshmi.
Yeah.
I have not touched Lakshmi ever since I took sannyas. I have not touched it. Prabhupada says, you give me the Lakshmi, I will use it to build temples. Right? So you see the difference. Both are sannyasis. Both have renounced the world. Right? So we say Falgu vairagya is then Falgu for no reason at all. It doesn't make any sense. What are you renouncing? It never was yours in the first place.
Instead of Falgu, Faltu vairagya.
Faltu, exactly. So in Falgu vairagya, what you do is that you just give away whatever is there, and a thing that could have been utilized in the service of Krishna. So a person might say, you know what, I am a yogi, I have nothing to do with iPhone. It's a Falgu vairagya. You are in Kali Yuga, technology is advancing, and if some sannyasi has got a cell phone in his hand, don't condemn that they are bad, they are materialistic, they're using a cell phone. Right? You have to first go and see what are they doing on the cell phone. Maybe they are preaching through the cell phone. They're having Zoom calls through the cell phone. They're reaching out to thousands of people and giving Krishna Katha there, right? So renouncing doesn't mean that, you know, that you just give away things like that. And then the next type of vairagya, which is the right type of vairagya, is known as the yukta vairagya. The yukta vairagya, yukta means to connect, like that, right? So yukta vairagya means that you take anything and you connect it. You connect it with Krishna. You do your work, whatever you are doing, you do it for Krishna. You use everything in this material world. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudastate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Right? So from one complete whole, which is the Lord, this whole universe has been created, which is complete in itself. And it has got so many things in this universe which are meant for you to utilize in the service of Krishna. So when you are taking things like that and you're utilizing them in the service of Krishna, that is the other meaning of the word akarma. That to the other people, it might look that you are indulging in everything that is there, right? You are going here, you are even, going into the bar, like, oh, sannyasi, what is the going into the bar? Well, he's gone to distribute a Bhagavad-gita, right? Using everything possible in the service of Krishna. When you do that, and when you understand this, that this is akarma, and you understand what is akarma, then Krishna is telling Arjuna that, Arjuna, you will be saved and you will be safe in this material world. You won't get, you'll get complete freedom from reaction. Like that, right? On the other hand, you might see the monkeys, right? Sitting up in the Himalayas, and then closing the eyes. You don't know what they're thinking, right? And after 20 years, they get bored, they climb down and they're back again, right? Into it. And so it's very, very important that to be clear in our thoughts. Our mental screen should be clean. And that is what is extremely, extremely important. So with that, I will close. We have 5 more minutes for the class. And if you have any questions or any reflections, let's use this time to do that. So karma, vikarma, akarma, right? 3 things Krishna is explaining today. Any thoughts, any comments, any questions, anything you are carrying away with you today? Varshana Mataji is there.
Yes, yes, Mataji. So Mataji, we should, karma is whatever you do, but you are expecting some result of that.
Yes.
Karma, just usually, you mentioned.
Usually, karma in general means you're doing work, right? It could be, it could get you a good or bad result, but usually karma means something that gets you, when the word karma is used together with vikarma, right? If karma and vikarma are being talked about in the same flow, then karma is one that will get you good and vikarma is what will get you bad.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, karma in general can be karma, the acting.
Yeah. And akarma, Mataji.
Yeah, akarma is
you are
2 meanings of akarma. One is not doing anything, right? Not doing anything has got nothing to do with godliness or anything like that, right? Negligence of duty, sleeping, not doing your job when you're supposed to do, not studying, akarma, right? And so that is one meaning of akarma. Second meaning of akarma is that you are doing everything. You're acting just like a normal person and like a householder maybe. And then you're utilizing everything which is there, but you are doing all those things for Krishna. All those things for God, right? So that is akarma, because that won't, because the fact that it is now, it is connected with Krishna, that absolves you of reactions to that karma. And that is what Krishna was telling Arjuna, that you fight for me. So the same Arjuna who in first chapter said, I don't want to fight because why? I want to enjoy my family and all that. And then he's later on when he says, you nimitta matra bhava savasachin, you just become my instrument, then Arjuna fights for Krishna.
So Mataji, Arjuna used his quality of fighting, that is in the service of the Lord. So it became akarma.
Akarma, exactly.
Akarma. and vikarma is absolutely prohibited, which should not be done.
Yes.
Am I right, Mataji?
Yes, yes. Like Duryodhana was doing so many vikarmas, right?
So, Mataji, I really like the point. Vairagya. So we should
Oh, your voice is breaking.
Example.
Your
Can
voice is
be
breaking.
given to Vairagya.
Yeah. But Mataji, your voice is breaking. I heard just pieces of that, of your statement.
Yes, Mataji, say it again, Mataji.
I could not hear you.
Mataji, I was just saying that Yukta Vairagya, that means it can be, Yukta Vairagya can be, example can be taken for akarma. That,
yes. Yukta Vairagya is akarma. It's another way, another name. A person who is a Yukta Vairagi is doing akarma. And an example of that is Srila Prabhupada, right?
Yeah.
Example of that. And there's a very nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that I just brought up here. Very beautiful verse. Jnane prayasa udapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthita shruti gatam tanuvan manobhe re prayaso jita jitopya asita strilokyam. So this is known as the sthane sthita verse. Sthane sthita. Right? And what that means is that those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, which is maybe you're a Brahmin, maybe you're a Vaishya, maybe you're a Shudra, maybe you're a Kshatriya, right? Wherever you are remaining situated in your established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words, and mind, offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees. Certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Right? So this is Brahma telling to Krishna. So main thing is Thane Sthita, which means that wherever you are a husband, okay, continue to be a husband. You're a wife, continue to be a wife. And then, but in your duties as a wife or as a husband, as a daughter, daughter-in-law, son, son-in-law, whatever, you, in all your activities, you bring in concept of Krishna, all your activities, you do that for Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. So International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON means that, right? Whatever we are doing. Right? For example, we are coming here, we are having these classes on Facebook, right? One way to have these classes on Facebook, one reason to have it behind is that we are on Facebook. How many likes did I get? How many people went and put a like on my lecture? How many are watching me? How many put comments over there, right? One way is to give a lecture like that. Second way of the lecture is, it doesn't matter. I come to this lecture, whether people come or not come, whether they give are on Facebook or Zoom or not, right? I just give my lecture. Even if there are four walls, I will still speak. Why? Because even if no human beings are there, there are so many creatures in this room who are also listening to Krishna Katha, who would have never got a chance to listen to Krishna Katha. So that is, Vairagya. And Yukta Vairagya, we are utilizing everything. We are using Facebook technology, we are using Zoom technology, we are using a laptop, right? All of us, and participating in this Krishna Katha. So Yukta Vairagya. Vairagya is that you have to disconnect yourself from the result of that and let Krishna be. But this is what Krishna wanted. Krishna wanted me to be the instrument to speak this Krishna Katha to 10 people. That's it. It's not 10,000, 1 million. That's fine. Like that, right? Yukta Vairagya. Sthane Sthita, wherever you are. Whichever position of life you are in, do everything for Krishna. And then you will not get the reactions to your work. Okay, we are 2 minutes over the time. Any last comments? Anything else?
I just want to ask this. So the three types, you said three types of karma: vikarma, akarma, and
Karma, sakarma or karma.
So karma is just, it can be positive or negative.
Yeah, karma is a neutral thing. Yeah, but usually if it is used in conjunction with vikarma, then karma means good karma, vikarma means bad karma, and akarma means no karma.
But Mataji, you said akarma is no karma, or you're doing towards Krishna's.
Yeah, no
So
reaction.
both are akarma. Both are akarma.
Yeah, yeah. Both are karma, but for one, you can get an action. But for one, you can get a reaction, right? Negligence of duty, you can get a reaction.
Oh.
But when you're not doing anything, or even when you're doing something, but you're doing it for Krishna, then you don't get reaction. So karma, akarma, vikarma, in this particular verse, they are basically looking at it from the perspective of whether you're going to get a reaction or not. If you're going to get a good reaction, it's karma. If you're going to get a bad reaction, it is vikarma. And if you're going to get no reaction, it's akarma. And what is akarma in the context of not getting you a reaction is when you are doing something, but you're doing it for Krishna.
So like I said, that story that Mataji went to the temple.
Yeah.
So she was
did it
doing.
for Krishna.
She did for Krishna.
So
But the priest has done something.
Vikarma. Yeah.
So non-action can fall under any of these, can fall under karma or vikarma.
Yes.
Mhm.
After 1 month, I am coming to the class today. Good.
Good. Yeah. Nice.
Everybody. Thanks to everybody.
All right.
Thanks
Thank you,
to
everybody.
Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll have the class tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m., where we will take up a verse from first chapter of Bhagavad-gita. Thank you so much, all of you joining us here on Facebook, as well as those who have joined us here on Zoom. It's always a pleasure to meet you all every week. And,
You said 6:30, Mataji, tomorrow?
Yeah, 6:30 a.m.
A.M.
Yeah, morning.
Pacific
Thank
time.
you,
Where
Mataji.
are you, Vindhyavati Mataji? Pacific time.
I am here at a specific time only.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just came
So
from
we
India
will,
yesterday.
Yeah, we will
I'll
just
go back to Philadelphia again.
Yeah, let me just stop broadcasting. Yeah, on the Facebook. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha
Kripa sindhobhya eva cha
patitanam
patitanam pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha. Gurprimanande Hari Hari Bol.